everyone. Sorry that I'm on time. No, Alaric and I were just playing around trying to get OBS set up with YouTube because we were going to try to do have him on the stream. So we got everything set up. It's just when I set up this stream link, I didn't set it up to go through OBS, so it would have created a whole new live stream. And given that it's 8 o'clock, and I probably posted it to a dozen different places, yeah, time was a little short. But hello and welcome. I didn't have like a whole the few minutes leading up to this when I'm like, okay, I'm ready now. But it's not 8 o'clock yet to think about what I was going to actually, talk about. Because I usually wait a little bit to do the oracle reading till everyone shows up. But hello, Damie. Hello, Nina. Hi, Jasonius. Yeah. So is that so, Moon? Hi, Eddie. Hi, Angelic. My cat Moon has things to say as well. She always does. But yeah, so anyways, just, kind of housekeeping stuff first. I have, and I'll post the information for this now before I forget. And there's a ton of other artists. I'm doing the Darksome Every Day is Halloween virtual market. And all weekend there is 20% off with that code at checkout. And that's just on my website. That's not, it doesn't include Etsy and what's it called? The other place, Amazon Handmade. Hi, Lucas. So that's that. I was talking about a little bit on DH Thorne's channel last night, or his live stream, and we ended the stream with me, so I didn't have a chance to put it in the live chat. But anyways, yeah, you can use it now. It started at midnight, midnight today. So, and it goes through Sunday till 11:59 p.m. And I'll probably do some sort of promotion thing for what do I have coming up? I have a couple more events coming up. I think every weekend now, and there might be a couple at the same time, but at least now when I double book myself, I don't have to worry about, being in two places at once because the internet. Yeah. So, yeah, I just put up one of the new tinctures and elixirs last night. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 more to get up. They just take forever to bottle. But actually, I'm going to turn off the light so I don't ghost out as much. There we go. So I have a friend of mine that's helping me out now. I'm still ghosty. God damn it. All right. I'll stop moving around. So I have a friend of mine now who's helping me out 2 days a week with packaging and labeling and all that stuff. So that helps. So I can take care of orders and everything else. But yeah, the tinctures and elixirs are really nice. Like the first ones I did didn't have any of the toxic plants in it and stuff. So those are the ones I'm testing out. The first one I released was the one that had Brabanzia in it. And that one's really nice. I just tested one last night, and boy, howdy, did it give me crazy ass dreams. So I think that one's, I'm going to call Shadows of the Night Side or something like that. That one's non-toxic, but it's got Uva Ursi, Sun Opener, I think pomegranate flowers and something else in it. Thank you. Yeah, I try to angle my camera so you see the clean part of my house, although you're seeing part of a box lid in the corner there. Yeah, tinctures and elixirs are consumable. You just take the dropper. I send an instruction sheet with it, and it's also on the label. You usually just do a drop under your tongue, hold it for 30 seconds, and then swallow it. I I try to add some stuff. I've seen some tinctures that people make with apple cider vinegar, and I personally find the taste and smell of apple cider vinegar to be nauseating. So, but that would be the only sort of non-alcoholic version of it. And the difference between the tincture and the elixir is the tincture is made with a grain alcohol base, which it's therefore vegan. And the elixirs are a brandy and honey base. So some people who are vegan don't use honey. So, but I personally like the elixirs better, and most people who sell those types of things, usually you're going to have the grain alcohol base. A lot of people don't do the brandy based ones. So I have to be different. But I have both. So, yeah, apple cider vinegar. Ugh. It is not my favorite thing in the world. Yeah, I'm running low on my brandy and grain alcohol stash. I'm gonna have to stock up again. I do have a few new ones that I started brewing up, but they're gonna be ready in about a month now. But let's see, what is going on? Should I wear a top hat and monocle while taking it, Eddie? That is entirely up to you. Jasonia says your ball flying bale. I never know how to say it right. Flying ointment gets more potent every time I use it. It's giving me some crazy dreams. Yeah, that's pretty common. Like once you kind of get, pardon me, the hang of using the flying ointments, like you'll find you'll sort of learn, how to control the experience better. Like if you really want to go deep in, like use more. If you don't want to go that deep, use less, And then sometimes the spirits just hijack you and are like, nope, you're done for 18 hours. That's so. But yeah, there's a lot of cool things coming up. So I have the Darksome virtual Halloween market this weekend. Next weekend, I think, is the Pocono Witches Festival, which is all online now. So I'll be in that. And then the Dark Arts Summit at the end of the month for Halloween. Damie asked, do flying ointments have to be with meditation? Can you just take some and go to sleep? Yeah, you can just take some and go to sleep. I mean, I do that sometimes. Like if I really need to sleep, I'll do the Go Ask Alice one, because for whatever reason, flag arc mushrooms knock me the F out. But yeah, so trying to think, had like a hectic day. It's one of those days where I slept a little longer than I was anticipating and like hit the ground running and at like 1:15 and like suddenly now it's after 8 p.m. and I'm like, Yeah, I mean, sometimes I'll have like, if you've seen some of the videos I've done in my bedroom, I have those sort of like fairy lights or whatever hanging in the background. So sometimes, I'll leave those on or like, okay. I was trying to remember because sometimes I'll have like, depending on ritual stuff I'm doing, I'll have like 7-day candles and I'll leave those on or something like that. Yeah, I tend to vape. I've been vaping now for like maybe 5 years. But I haven't had a cigarette since, so all good. All good. Because I probably started smoking before some of y'all were born. Trying to think what else. Oh, you know what? I might need to grab a couple of my decks because I was moving back and forth with them, and now I have a couple less than I did. Cougar alert, yeah. Yeah, I just when I quit smoking and switched to vaping, like I sort of overlapped it, and eventually just stopped smoking cigarettes. Jasonius asks, what ritual oil would you recommend for a birthing servitor or a servitor ritual? I haven't really worked with servitors all that much, so I'm not entirely sure. If it's something like you're programming and like, I would say like maybe like a commanding and controlling kind of oil, or if there's a particular intention of it, like this is my love magic servitor or whatever, then, you know, love magic oils, or this is my money making servitor, then like money oils or something like that. Gotta do a bidding, do my bidding bitch oil. Yeah. Yeah, like I have a protection oil, or like a fiery wall of protection oil as well, something like that. Yeah, I have, well, and speaking of vaping, I have to change my vape battery. Yeah, I have a pretty low level of nicotine in mine. I think it's like 6 milligrams. So there's that. Battery, there you go. Yeah, one of the recent oils I did, Eddie mentioned the bend over oil. I have like the mind control oil, which is sort of based on some of those different kind of commanding, controlling, bend over, do as I say, those kind of oils. Jinjini asked, have I done DMT or ayahuasca? Not yet, but it's on my list of things to do when, you know, we're not in plague times. Yeah, I mean, like some people can, I know like E.A. Quain's talked about like when he did it, he made it himself and stuff like that. Because I saw the video he did with J.S. Garrett earlier today. When not what? Plague times, Elric, plague times. I don't particularly like flying. And the thought of having to fly, I mean, it's not a long flight from Philly to Florida, but still like having to sit on a plane for 3 hours with a mask on sounds kind of bleh. And I've never driven that far. But yeah. Oh, I'm like looking, I'm like, why is everything blurry? I forgot to put my glasses on. You have, Jinjini says, I have 2 books 30 years ago, Magical Formularies for Oils and Incense. Can you recommend some? Yeah, I mean, like a lot of it isn't so much. I mean, I base some of it off of that, but it's like I look at sort of like if you're making a ritual oil, like I'll use whatever carrier oil, whether it be like olive oil or sunflower oil or fractionated coconut oil. And then I look at what the intention of what I'm making is. So if I'm making an oil for like a particular goddess, I will look up and see what the correspondences are for that. And I sort of divide it into like, I'll do an herbal infusion and add like fragrances and essential oils to it to give it a smell, because some herbs don't smell great after they're infused. So, hi, Lamian. That's usually what I do. So it's more like having the knowledge of what each herb does versus like having a formulary to kind of go from. So in other words, I wing it. Yeah, it's like knowing how to cook, but only following recipes. Now, some things have specific recipes, but there's always like a little bit of like this group of herbs and oils are used in, say, a fiery wall of protection thing. It doesn't necessarily tell you how much of each, but it's the combination of those materials that give it that power. So Some of it's just that. And then, you know, when using essential oils, kind of, for me, just knowing, you know, some of their safety hazards and stuff like that with them as well. Because someone's always going to want to stick it up their hoo-ha, as we've discussed in previous live streams. Jasonius asks about Demonopoly. Yeah, it's the origin story of Demonopoly is all I've gotten recently. After, well, actually, no, did I talk about that? This is apparently, I'm going to do a video on the whole story. I'm calling it What Demons Do in the Shadows. Because it's one of these weird things where magic is in the butt. Yes, it is. There's probably a chaos magic book on that or something. Yeah, apparently it's a game the demonic gatekeepers and probably other demons have been playing for a very long time, and it's boiled down to various. I call it Demonopoly because it's a witty term, and you know it's all based on like acquiring random things and various threats against each other. So, but you know. And you know, there's been various things like Asmodeus and Beelzebub are probably in the lead, surprisingly. But I got the origin story of it, and from Lilith one of the times. I was like, by the way, do you play Demonopoly? And she's like, play it? I invented it. So what she had told me about is she's like, well, you know, until recent times, people weren't summoning us all that much, and demons got bored, you know. And bored demons, Jesus Christ, that's some troublesome shit. So they started playing Demonopoly to alleviate their boredom, and apparently just never stopped. But now, you know, we're summoning them and doing all the astral stuff all the time. So, you know, they're a little more, we're keeping them busy and stuff like that. But, you know, when you think like 100 years ago, which for us seems like a long time, but in demon time, you know, that's probably, you know, what is that, you know, because time doesn't really exist in the same way. Sorry, just look at the comments. Oh, Eddie says, I have a Demonopoly story. I evoked Fornius for someone, and he messaged me the other day and was like, I don't know why, but Fornius told me to go get a giant bag of the specific brand and flavor. A giant bag of what? Sunflower seeds. Okay. Yeah, sometimes I mean, you know, people, you know, when you're like working with demons, people are like, oh my God, you know, are they asking you to, you know, go out and, you know, kill babies and do evil things? I'm like, no, they just kind of want to eat our snacks and ask for weird things. Like one of the times I was working with Azazel and I was doing like sort of like a possession with him. And like after I woke up in the morning, I looked on the floor. I'm like, you fucker, you ate all my cinnamon mini donuts. I mean, who doesn't love cinnamon mini donuts though? But yeah, so, and it was funny because one of the times I think I was talking to Belial and Azazel about it, and I was like, well, why do you guys tell me all these weird things that you do and stuff like that? He's like, because you actually talk to us. You're not just like coming here like, help me with this, do that. You're like, you know, I'm like, hey, how are you guys? What are you up to? What's new in Demonopoly? What's new in the you know, Infernal Empire? What's going on? Apparently they like, you know, polite chit chat. I always need a lot of Tasty Cake stuff for reasons. Tasty Cake, for those that don't live in the Northeast, and the reason most people don't leave the Northeast is like the best, like, I probably have some in the freezer. They're like the best kind of like snacky cake kind of thing. Like, think even better like Hostess or Little Debbie treats and stuff, like cupcakes and donuts and pies. It's good. But yeah, it's for some reason they don't really, I don't know why they don't sell them outside of the Northeast United States, but because they would be like a zillion dollar corporation at that point in time, but I digress. It's all for me. I remember when I was a kid, we moved to Northwest Georgia where they did not have tasty cakes. So my grandparents would send us care packages of all the things that we couldn't get in Georgia at the time, including tasty cakes and other things like that. It's funny how some things are regional and you like soft pretzels and stuff like that. I'm more of a Hers person than Utz for potato chips. It's like if you're in Pennsylvania and you go to a bar and say I'd like a lager, they know to give you a Yuengling lager. You don't have to specify anything beyond lager. But. So I'll probably do the Oracle reading soon. I just have to grab a couple decks because I only have a couple here. Because someone's prepared. But luckily, they're only like right over there, so I don't have to go that far. So look at my refrigerator and all my herbs behind me. I can still talk, though, because I'm not that far away. Okay. I'm back. I'm actually not a beer fan. I don't like it. I've never really had a beer that I really was like, this is good. I don't know why. Beer just... So for today's Oracle, I have a couple new decks. I think I'm going to skip that one this week, but we are going to do Mausolea, Oracle of Souls. I got the Water Crystal Oracle. I don't know if you're familiar with the work of Dr. Masaru Emoto. He's the author of The Hidden Messages in Water. He did all the experiments with like water crystals and exposing them to different types of music and different words and things like that, and like saw how the water crystals were influenced by those types of energies. And I've like followed. Well, he passed away several years ago, but I've like read all his books and followed his work for years. But also got the Divine Animals Oracle recently. And we will revisit the Eternal Crystals and the Spellcasting Oracle. Let's see. Yeah, he did a whole bunch of different ones, like exposing music, exposing them to like, classical music and death metal and things like that. And what I found fascinating with it is that, our bodies are like 90% water or something like that. So like when you're thinking about like magical energy and influencing things, with energy, vibration, frequencies and stuff like that, the fact that we are a lot of water, it kind of takes a different sort of life of its own. Like you really start to think like, oh, okay, so this thing that, like, and it's not, across the board because I can listen to death metal and it makes me happy as a clam, listen to folk music and I want to punch someone in the face, but that's me. I'm weird. We know that though. So what do we want to start with? Since we were talking about the water crystals one, we're going to start with the water crystal one. Yeah, water can disrupt some magical things. I know like J.S. Garrett was talking about that last week in Beer Boobs and Black Magic, I believe, with different energies and things like that. Like, if you were, and it's weird because it was like so ingrained in my brain. Like one time I had this like sleep paralysis possession thing. And I like instinctually, as soon as I finally got out of it, I just like, grabbed a bath salts and jumped in the tub. Because, yeah, it can do that. But, thinking about like the influence of water, like if you look at like Barbie Garrett's Slut Water, the Apocalypse Water things that she's done, you know, there's, you know, a lot of inherent magic and stuff like that in the water. Alrighty. So our water crystal for this week, and I'll show you the crystal image. And they're so beautiful. I mean, they're intricate like snowflakes as well. So this is Peace of Mind. Now I got to figure out in the book how they put everything in here. Peace of mind. So this comes from the section that are snowflakes, yeah. The cards of wisdom. So they're kind of broken up into cards of power, cards of healing, cards of wisdom, cards of the earth, and I think that is all of it. So says for cards of wisdom, I believe that purity of intention causes a shorter wave vibration. When a wave vibration is short, it carries farther into the cosmos because there is less space between the waves for disrupting vibrations to enter. Human beings have physical limitation regarding the range of sound we are able to transmit. To hear or transmit sounds far away must be done in a frequency band exceeding the scope of our ability. What may allow us to accomplish this, water and the molecular cluster in it. If you fill your heart with love and gratitude, happiness and peace, you'll find yourself surrounded by an abundance of gifts to love and feel grateful for. And you can get closer to enjoying the life and health and happiness we all seek. So, for peace of mind, the most important words are peace of mind. It's important to have peace of mind in your livelihood, place of work, education, and environment. Well, that's very true. We live in a very chaotic time, so it is hard sometimes to find peace of mind. So, oops, I put this in backwards. So get some peace of mind this week. Have that be your intention. It's probably easier said than done, but you know, sometimes it's just nice to sit back and enjoy things and not, you know, have constant chaos going on. So the next deck is going to be the Divine Animals Oracle. And I've not really looked through this one. That's a big ass book. Yes, Elric, I know it's always hard. I see what you did there. I see what you did there. Okay, and our animal of the week is the hare. And ironically, she has very long hair for the hares. And the keyword is cycles. 31. Oh, hey, I'm right to it. Follow the cycles of nature and you'll rarely be disappointed. As energy travels in cycles, seek balance. There is a time and season for everything. Plants cannot blossom all the time, so be patient. That works well with finding peace of mind, because often sometimes, like I know for me, like I sometimes stress myself out, like gotta get everything done, gotta get this all done. I'm like, is anyone gonna die if this doesn't get done? No, probably not. So, you know, I need to find the peace of mind to just say, okay, I can actually do that tomorrow. Justani says major cleanse and decluttering of the home this weekend. Yeah, that would be a good time, because I mean, you can, like, I find sometimes, like if I'm organizing or something like that, like I get into this like almost like meditative zone where I'm not like sitting in front of the computer and you're looking at my phone and you know all this stuff going on. So the mythos around this. Eostre, the goddess of spring, and her hair were walking at a dawn crisp morning at the beginning of the season. The morning was very beautiful, yet still cold, as the winter snows had begun to melt. As they walked, they came upon a small bird dying in the freezing but melting snow. Distressed at its condition, she picked up the tiny soul and tried to revive and warm it, but its life was too far gone to save. Feeling love and pity for the creature, she transformed the bird back into an egg, giving it a chance to be born again. She placed the egg on the earth and it hatched. Out came another hare, a mate for her companion, and the three of them continued their journey. The hare has been part of the mythos of every culture in whose countries they have commonly linked with the lunar cycle and in stories of fertility and love. So hare magic, hare as in bunny rabbits, not hair, has always been linked to the lunar cycle and the fertility cycle of women for those who wish to achieve a pregnancy. Call in a hare magic and help you conceive or balance your cycle. For those who are not interested in reproduction, hare magic can be used to quicken up the pace of an outcome or increase your connection with other cycles. So, the hare. That's a pretty card. So, who's next? I think I'm feeling crystals next. Let's see what crystal we get this week. We keep getting ones I'm like, I've never heard of this one. Let's see if we get one I actually have and can identify. I'm great at getting crystals and then going, what is this one? Oh, speaking of crystals, I actually ordered a Moldavite last night from a local shop. So that should be coming sometime this week. Because I was watching a video on Moldavite magic and like how powerful the stone it is. And our crystal of the week is pipestone catlinite. It says ancestors root chakra. So again, root chakra, that's kind of your grounding and centering, which kind of goes with the peace of mind and things like that. And given the time, the month that we're in for ancestors work, you know, with Samhain coming up and things like that, that really kind of fits pretty well. So it says, your ancestors are calling to you, waiting for you to start to acknowledge them. This is a powerful time for you to delve more deeply into who you really are and find out where your family came from. You may feel a strong pull to a particular culture that may not be in your current family bloodlines. This culture may have been part of who you were in a past life, or you may have some soul link to these ancestors. Pay attention to any particular cultures or belief systems that you find yourself drawn to at present time. Now is an optimal time to research your family lineage. Your ancestors have been with you in many lifetimes, and they're here today to offer you strength and wisdom. You are not alone. Call upon them for your help and guidance whenever you need to. Pipestone is known as catlinite, a sacred crystal in Native American culture. It's carved into sacred pipes and used as other sacred objects. Pipestone is associated with the root chakra and is used to connect with ancestors, the Great Spirit, and to the earth. So that's actually that's actually interesting because, you know, I find in, you know, with the spirits and stuff that I'm working with, a lot of them are from the sort of Mesopotamian, Sumerian, Babylonian, and that kind of, and that's all kind of in the same general vicinity. Now, most of my lineage is Eastern European, but, you know, when I did whatever it was, one of those ancestry things, it did pull up some West Asian, North African bloodlines as well. Very minimal over time, obviously, but, you know, again, that would kind of be in that part of the world that those cultures that I'm really interested are coming from. So like Mesopotamia and all that, like Lilith, Astarte, things of that nature. So, and October is a good month to get in touch with your ancestors, especially on Samhain. So let me just read the comments. Yeah, I'm really, Scotty, I'm really excited about the Moldavite. Bal Kadman did a video on Moldavite magic, which was really cool. And he just says it adds like, I've held Moldavite before. It's also just, if you're getting authentic Moldavite, like a little piece of it is going to be like $45, $60, something like that, just for one little piece. But it's just such a powerful stone because it's very limited and rare, because it also blends the terrestrial and the celestial, because it was like a glass that was formed by the impact of, like, I don't know, meteor, asteroid, something like that. So he says, you actually inspired me to order an oracle deck. Ordered a Halloween oracle, was drawn to that one, as I couldn't afford the Lucifer oracle deck, or the tarot deck, whatever it is. Yeah, that one is really expensive for some reason. I think I'm gonna do this one next. And the next one we have is the spell casting oracle. So what do we have here? Yeah, it's out of print. Yeah, I did just get the Salvador Dali tarot deck, which is really nice. I mean, it's huge. Well, it comes in this like gigantic like velvet box, and it's got like this full, like almost like art catalog, you know, book with it. I mean, the cards are normal size, but I love Salvador Dali, so yeah, Selric, that was what I said. So our card from the spellcasting oracle is Answers. Magical guidance. You already know the answers to your questions, so why do you pursue the opinions of others? It's time to trust your journey to the dark chambers within and boldly ask for the truth to be revealed to you. As the answers shine forth, you will find all the advice and knowledge that you need at this time. There is no need to seek the approval of anyone else, for the answers are all around. So keep a keen lookout for signs, signals from the natural and mystical world as messages appear to you through cloud formations, falling feathers, and dream time. So magical meanings: visit a psychic medium for answers, investigate before proceeding, return to studying, somebody spills the beans, be open to receiving esoteric information, and come clean. So I would kind of take that in sort of like the shadow work aspect, and this is usually a time of year where, you know, like reflecting inward, you know, with the change of seasons and all of that, although it's been like a whole year of shadow work, but particularly this time of year is good for that. That's cool, Arachnos. You've used a Yu-Gi-Oh cards for Oracle. Yeah, I could see that. And lastly, we're going to do the Mausolea Oracle of Souls. I like this deck a lot. It's one of my favorite darker decks. Yeah, I mean, you can really use like anything for like an Oracle deck like that, because they're all so individually. Yeah, I mean, you can even do tarot readings with like a deck of cards. Oh, and we got one that I think the last time we got it, we got this one too, Ereshkigal, or maybe she came up in the Dark Goddesses one. And she's Queen of Shadows, Wrath, Instability, Suspicion. So she's, from what I remember when she came up last time, is she's sort of that death current, which is very, again, the time of year for that. So it would help if I looked at the English section of this, because I have no idea what that was. Okay, yay, English. Okay, so she is from the Empire of Urkala, a realm of bright and dark dualities. In Urkala, sorrow and joy are shared and balanced in equal measure. The gods of Urkala value obligation and sacrifice. A few who enter this domain are ever permitted to leave again. To dwell in Urkala is to accept the obligations of society, to seek simple, finite existence, and to understand the balance between one's rational mind and one's emotional experience. So, Ereshkigal, Queen of Shadows, the goddess of death and ruler of Urkala, she shares her power with her consort Nurgle, a shadowy figure of questionable motives. She can be quick to violent storms of anger, particularly as concerns the encroaching of the demonic, corrupting beings upon the borders of her realm. Ereshkigal demonstrates a leader who does not have full awareness or control over what occurs in their domain, and serves as a warning to look closer at those whom one has delegated responsibility. Are they holding up their end of the bargain? Is this display of anger truly the correct response? Domains, wrath, instability, and suspicion. Ereshkigal. And that concludes our Oracle of the Week. So it seems like it's a lot of it's focusing on kind of finding your balance, grounding, centering, exploring the darker aspects of yourself through shadow work, and learning about yourself through your ancestor work and things like that, which is very apropos for this time of year. So, all right, let me look at content. Yeah, I was just talking about Mesopotamia a little bit. Gambling and divination go hand in hand, back to classical times. Yeah, tarot cards were used by royalty. I know, sort of in that, the spiritualist movement of the sort of Victorian era, it was very posh to have seances and all those things. Jinjini asks, anyone ever use dice sets or bones or dominoes? I've seen Bill Duvendak use Astro dice, but I don't have any experience with them. Some people, if you're doing in hoodoo and voodoo, there's bone divination, which is called throwing the bones, and there's a whole kind of, they make kits and stuff like that, but you basically kind of throw things on, throw them on the floor and then do a reading based on that. I don't know a lot of about that though. And in the Slavic Eastern European folk magic, they used to do a different kind of bone reading where they would take a ham hock, boil it down, and do readings based on the markings and striations of the bones. So, hi, Necro Nikki. Arachna says, I'm not really able to scry. Otherwise, I would love to do bone reading. A while back, though, I randomly put runes on a ball of clay, rolled it, and read the top of the pile and got interesting results. Yeah, I just picked up I may have had runes before, a long time ago, but yeah, that's another area that I'm need to explore more. As you can tell, I've been obsessed with oracle readings lately, and I'll do some tarot pulls for particular questions and things like that. So anyways, the other part of this, the other topic of this live stream, unless you guys have questions for me and stuff, I was going to talk a little bit about various pathworking stuff, with mostly maybe more focusing on the demonic gatekeepers, but a little bit with the dark goddesses as well. Because I've had some really interesting experiences lately doing the pathworking with Satan. I'm interested to see how it kind of lines up once the Satan Compendium comes out in December. But I guess, and maybe I'll do a video on this. It's specifically on this, but a lot of times there's when we're talking about Satan, is, you know, they're sort of like, okay, well, Satan is kind of a title. Some people see it as an entity, whether it's like Lucifer is Satan, Shamyaza is Satan, this or that or the other thing is Satan. That, you know, it's a designatory title of the adversary, be that what it may. So I kind of, in my explorations of it, I feel like Satan is more of like an energy, like, or an energy being that can manifest into form if, you know, that's what you, if you need to visualize that energy as having a human form or a demonic form or something like that, rather than just a big blob of energy light. That's kind of where my pathworking is kind of taking me in that. So that's been pretty cool. I don't know, is anyone else doing like the pathworking yet with Satan, or have in the past? Or I'm just interested in kind of comparing notes and things like that. So it's been a really interesting process. Because in one of the more recent, this started with when I was working with Azazel, and I allowed him to possess me because I wanted to go. I wanted to sort of experience the source that, you know, we kind of talk about. I know E.A. Coetting talks about it a lot. And on the first time, and this was maybe probably more like 4 weeks ago now. You know, he kind of like was taking me up through the different realms, and the closer we got to the source, I literally just blacked out. But the weird thing is, my ears have not stopped ringing since then. Like, it's just constant. Like, nothing's happened. Like, I feel I've got that, like, the day after a loud concert ear ringing constantly, day in and day out, all the time. So, yeah. Eddie says the gnosis I got is that Satan is more of a title that applies to all of us. But I've gotten a little bit of that myself. So in one of the recent workings I had with Satan, however you want to define that, is that he took me, or whatever, took me to the source. And so I was able to visualize, you know, see this. And it's sort of like this energetic sphere. And around the sphere, like, imagine Saturn, for lack of a better, just for a visual context. So imagine sort of like a planet. And then there's these currents, these energetic currents. So you sort of have this divine energy going around, and then this sort of like infernal energy going around as well. But it was so weird because, like, as we were approaching it, like, I could feel in my physical body, like I could feel like sinus pressure and like pressure in my face and like in my head, like I could feel like physical pressure changes from the energy of it. Jasonia says, I think Satan probably teaches you how to be assertive with serious intention. Like, do you really want to go there? Type intention is what I sense from some who have worked with Satan. I've gotten that from other entities, not as much from Satan. He's more of a, here's the really big picture, and, you know, connecting different timeline, you know, making different connections between different timelines and different things. So, like, I've, you know, kind of, I think I did a video on it about the infernal feminine, and you know, kind of looking at sort of these various things. And I mean, just talking a little bit more about like prophecy, and some of it, you know, going into you know, what's going on currently, and things like that in the world and whatnot. So yeah, it's a job title in Hebrew. The Talmud reveals it as was Samael. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different interpretations of it. So it's sort of like, you know, which interpretation of it do you want to which one makes the most sense? Or like, how do you determine which one's more valid? You really can't. So, you know, it's really, really, I mean, this isn't stuff we can prove or put through scientific testing or anything like that. And, you know, we can go on our own gnosis, the gnosis of others, historical writings and records and things like that, from different cultures, and kind of base things upon that. So, or explore different avenues there. The Buka Drew or Buka Guadier of Cornish tradition is total Satan. I'm not familiar with that, Scotty. Oh, you've got the ringing too, Lucas. Yeah, sometimes, like, you know, it's not as noticeable right now because I'm talking. My laptop is making a sound. I usually keep something on, like I'll keep music on or listen to a podcast or something like that to just kind of drown it out. But like if I go lay down and it's quiet, it's just like nonstop. That's awesome. Jen, I think he was talking that the Talmud reveals that Satan and Samael are the same. But then, like, some other things are like Lucifer and Samael are the same, or Lucifer becomes Satan, and you know, there's so much like conjecture and hypothesis and things like that with who is Satan. So I don't know, but that's kind of a little bit about what I've been, you know, working on recently. Lucifer was never Satan, not even in the Bible. Yeah, I think there's like some confusion that like, or like maybe the terms are used interchangeably by some people because, like, I know when I first started like looking at left hand path stuff, like I'm like, okay, what's the difference? How do these how are these different things? You know, are they the same? Are they different? Why, if so, why, how, etc. Yeah. Yeah, I agree, Scotty. Not so much who, but more of a what. Like I said, like to me, it's an energy being. And I would presume the same for whatever God, you know, that God is being like. I think they're all energy beings in some way because you know. Yeah, it's. But there is something behind the title of Satan. I feel like there's an energetic current. And I'm exploring kind of that more. But yeah, I agree. Satan is a title that was given to like numerous different entities and stuff in various different cultures. So yes, in that sense, it is, you know, a title like the Pope. Yeah, Eddie, that's I read that as well. Lucifer shows up because Saint Jerome was looking for the Latin translation of morning star and went with the one of the Roman names for the planet Venus, Lucifer. Yeah, I read that recently. You had to take a whole class on Christian demonology. You know, I would have been interested in that if they taught that crap in when I was in Catholic school. But I digress. We did not learn about that stuff. So you don't have the fun demons. So you have like, you know, the tax adjuster demon. Yeah, I could in the Book of Enoch. I've been doing a little bit more research down that path recently, Nina. And yeah, Satan's is mentioned as a plural and not one being, and I think that that's absolutely valid. Yeah, I mean, Alex, like when they say Beelzebub and Belial are just names for Satan, but I feel like Beelzebub and Belial have their own history, so they may be part of what makes Satan as an energetic thing, or a collection of titles that form something. But aren't we all a Satan then? Kind of like we are all an Antichrist, or however you want to be. Yeah, I could see that, Danny. Eddie says Lilith is also mentioned in Isaiah and Leviathan. Yeah, you're referring to the demonology crew, yeah. Yeah, different shards and stuff like that. And yeah, speaking of shards, the one thing that and when I visited the source energy in the Satan Pathworking was that it the way however that energy presents itself to me in my mind and how it frames it, was like we're all born with fragments of the source energy. It's just that some people don't activate it, so it just kind of goes dull and lifeless in them. And that those of us that activate it and experience the things like we are and are doing the work like we are and stuff like that may have bigger shards of the source energy or something like that. So how is the Jasonia says, so how is the Pathworking of Satan different than the other gatekeepers? Now this one's interesting for me because I have no like source material, like with doing the other gatekeepers. Like I've got the book, I've got the courses and stuff on Become a Living God, and doing that. This I'm just doing on my own and experiencing it in my own way. So for me, that's just a different kind of approach to it. And I'm curious to see how, once the book's released, like what other people's experience of that pathworking is like and how it might match up. Yeah, I think Elric brings up Shemyaza. I've been sort of looking into that a lot more recently because I mean there's just like so little information on Shemyaza, and stuff like that, and I feel like there's a reason it was kind of erased in a way. It's like, this is so bad we can't even tell you about it. You're writing a book, him. Shameless plug. Well, we're all about shameless plugs. Or shameless plugging. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Someone had to say something dirty. Forbidden knowledge, yeah. It's that is kind of an annoying thing. I don't know. Yeah, J.S. Garrett is pretty knowledgeable about Shemyaza. I'm just talking about like there's just like not a lot of you can go down some internet search rabbit holes, but there's not a lot of books and references in other books. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with that. I still have to do a little more work with Baal and Asmodeus. But yeah, you guys are hilarious. And well, it's about 9 o'clock, so don't forget, coming up at 9:30 is Beer, Boobs, and Black Magic with Barbie and JS Garrett. So, you know, we'll all be hopping over there then. So that's always a good time. Apparently last week they went on for like 5 hours. Like I actually like went to bed at some point, woke up, and they were still streaming. I'm like, you guys are still awake. What's going on? But yeah, so Lucas says, for my logical understanding of it, the gatekeepers and quite possibly other entities as well are all facets of the Satan energy. They're, excuse me, individual but facets of a deeper energy. Together they are. Yeah, I would agree with that. Come to the dark side. We have tasty snacks and Demonopoly. This is true. Yeah, that was a funny stream. Barbie's like, okay, I'm going to end the stream now before he whips it out. But anyways, so if you guys have any questions for me about pathworking, herbal stuff, we can, you know, chat a little bit about all that. I don't know. I need to watch the middle part of it. I like watched the first like hour or two, and then there's like a 2-hour gap where I actually like passed out and went to sleep, and then woke up and they were still streaming. I thought it was an error on my YouTube. I'm like, there's no way they're still streaming now. And I was like, oh no, they're still streaming. Weird. But I don't think they beat Elric's what was that, 5 hours, 6-hour stream? But yeah, so I have a few more videos I've shot recently that I just still need to edit and get up online. 6.5 hours. Oof. Justonia says, how would one start on herbalism type pathworking? How did you start out? Hi, Serial. So I started out working with herbs. Well, I first started out doing more aromatherapy based things, and I just happened to randomly take a workshop maybe like 3 years ago on making herbal infused oils and tinctures. So that's kind of how I got in. I was like, I'm going to infuse all the things. So that's kind of how I started on it. And let's see, I'm still slowly working through it. I've been, I think it's through the Chestnut Herbal Academy. They have an online herbal immersion program, which it's a little hard to get through all of it because I live in a city, so there's not a lot of experimentation I can do with like soil propagation. But, you know, so I mean, there's a lot of stuff about the like medicinal medicine making. So I started looking more at like combining things with working with essential oils and working with herbs. And I did a detour through perfume making, and I really started getting more into it when I was doing I took a course on incense crafting. And I really, honestly, like, I don't like, most of the incense I make is all loose. I really don't like, I'll use it occasionally, the stick or cone incense, but like a lot of times people like, I notice this is like a lot of times, the thing you need to make a loose incense, a lot of people like, you just burn herbs. I'm like, it's a little more complicated than just throwing some herbs on the fire. Like when I make a loose incense blend, so I pick, you know, the blend of herbs I want to use, and I grind them up to varying. You could do it like completely pulverized into powder, or like, you have little bits of the, you know, texture of the herbs in it. And so I mix all that up, and then you have to add a binding agent to it. So I usually use gum tragacanth. But you can use something like xanthan gum or something like that as well. And then you add a little bit of water to it to like mix it, the binding agent up, so like all the herbs kind of bind together. And and then you dry it. You lay it out to dry. I actually, I had like, because I usually I'm actually due to make like, do some restocks of incense. So I bought basically like this massive like sweater drying rack that I could just put like parchment paper on and like lay out, just dry big batches of incense on it. Oh, I'm sorry, Arachnos. That is the most disgusting thing I've ever heard. Jägermeister incense. Oh, hold on. I'm not okay. Yeah, I'm looking into doing some incense, like doing some courses on like magical herbalism and things like that. Because one of like my pet peeves in magic herbalism is a lot of what you find out there is based on Scott Cunningham's work. Now, his work was awesome, but he's been dead since like 1993. So there's been a lot of changes and things since then. So, and obviously he was more of a Wicca based thing. So there's a lot that's not included on using things for baneful magic and such like that. So, and the other thing I was saying with making loose incense, once you add the water and the binding agent, you can also add essential oils to them as well, and fragrances and things like that. Eddie, my German DNA is primed for two things: Jaeger shots and invading France. Yeah, I don't know what's up with my German and Ukrainian DNA, but I do not like beer or vodka. Yeah, I've to say that too, Justonius. I really liked Serial and Connor's podcast today. I was watching that today. Yeah, Jägermeister. My former husband was an alcoholic for 15 of the 17 years we were together, and Jägermeister was one of his poisons. So the smell of Jägermeister is one of those things that will like just, it triggers me, but in like, not like I'm going to go cry in the corner because I'm traumatized. It triggers me into, I'm just going to start punching people. I hate Jägermeister with like every fiber of my being. It's gross. Very, very gross. I like, Damien, I used to like cinnamon whiskeys too. I don't drink a lot these days. Yeah. So, what was I saying? So, herbalism courses. Yeah, I'm trying to find the time to do some of these things. But luckily, I manifested. I now have an assistant who's a friend of mine who's helping me out with some of the stuff I do 2 days a week, and I also manifested someone who wants to be my intern. So hopefully that will free up some of my time so that I can start developing coursework and writing more things, because I keep getting asked about that. Like my local witch groups are like, can you teach a class on poison plant path herbs and stuff like that? I'm like, yes, I'll put that on my list of things I don't have time to do. I was always, when it comes to cocktails, if you're familiar with the Kids in the Hall, I was a girl drink drunk. I was always like a fan of like Midori sours and things like that. Limoncello, I like. I like the girly drinks. Wait, Damien asks if there's a tincture of flying ointment with Fireball or Hot Damn. Could that be a thing? You could possibly do like an infused, what's it called? How many herb jars are on my shelf? Oh, good God. I just don't even know. And then all the backup herbs and bags are over there. There's quite a lot. Yeah, you can do infused rums and stuff. Actually, my friend Amy Blackthorne, she just put out her third book, Botanical Brews, and she goes over a lot of doing different kinds of like infused cocktails, vinegars, things like that. It actually just came out like a couple weeks ago. So you could do like different, what else does she have in there? I'm trying to remember. But like teas, she actually makes amazing tea. Which I think after I'm done here, I'm going to put on a pot of her amazing Florida water tea, which I love. I just had to order more of it. It's so good. Spice Captain and Mountain Dew. Ooh. Yeah, I've tried absinthe. We once had an absinthe party, and that's all we remember. Because we all had been traveling through Europe at various points in time and collecting bottles of absinthe because it wasn't at that time easy to get in the States. And it always cracked me up that in like the United Kingdom, you can get absinthe in basically like their Walmart. Clove cigarettes. That is one thing I miss. But yeah, we had an absinthe party. Like friends of mine had just been to the Czech Republic and had gotten a bunch, and so we had multiple types of absinthe, and that's all we remember. A few of the places I buy herbs from sell like absinthe kits, so you can make your own absinthe. I'm trying to remember which place. I'll have to look it up, but yeah, there's a few places that do like absinthe making starter kits. It's funny because like in Europe, absinthe isn't that expensive, Eddie, though. I mean, like a bottle of like scotch is way more expensive. Yeah. Because I mean, absinthe was illegal in the States for a long time because of the wormwood that was in it. Yeah, I would. When you're selling alcohol and consumable things, there's a whole other area of like FDA regulations and licenses. Like I had to actually get a special license to buy the denatured alcohol I use in like spray perfumes and colognes. And it's free, but like I had to fill out an application so I can buy denatured alcohol. It's not, you can't drink it, but it's very weird. You gave Goldschlager to King Paimon. He liked it. Yeah, I got to get to work on my King Paimon product line because he showed up and requested a product line, even though I've never actually like done any work with King Paimon. Demons, I tell ya. But I'm very excited. If you can see my necklace, I finally got my Sacred Heart of Hakkate necklace. So it's got a datura, belladonna, and poppies on it, and the heart from Blood Milk Jewelry. It was ridiculously expensive, but it's freaking amazing. I love they're local in Philly, but I love their jewelry is phenomenal. I think my next purchase will be one from their Medusa line. But yeah, I do, while we're on the topic of alcohol things, I do have several other elixirs and tinctures that are in various stages of being decanted and poured into bottles. Nina asked, would you consider making an Odin line or for Norse mythologies? Yeah, I started doing some for Freya. I get asked all the time to do things. Someone asked for a couple of specific products for Maimon and Paimon, so I figured that was Paimon poking other people, being like, yo, ask this bitch where my products are. But yeah, Yeah, I have I don't have a like brick and mortar store cereal, but I have my website, belladonnasbotanicals.com, and I'll grab a link to that. And since I am doing the Darksome virtual marketplace, I'm doing a 20% off sale all weekend, so that goes through Sunday night. And if you want to see like the other cool stuff, because there are a lot of damn it, that's not what I wanted. There's a ton of other amazing, like dark, macabre, witchy artists and stuff like that who are also in the event. I ordered this amazing Medusa crown from Jack Savage. What's it called? Jack Savage Design. Where is it? Yeah, Jack Savage, JAK. They're on that link, but they have like amazing crowns and like headpieces, like ritual headpieces. The only ones I don't like are the ones that like have teeth in them, because teeth are creepy. But that's only because I've probably had way too much dental work. Yeah, they have some really, really amazing crowns. Oh my God. And they also are doing like 20% off as well. So I was like, oh, I'm getting my Medusa crown. Why, Damien asks, why is Florida water supposed to be so good? Florida water is used a lot in like spiritual cleansing. It's based on an old like cologne recipe from France. Now, the translation from French to English basically just means it means Florida water. So it's like a floral water. So it has nothing to do with the state of Florida. It won't turn you into Florida man. But I actually make my own Florida water, because a lot of the ones you get, you know, like at the Botanicas or like occult stores and stuff like that, it's just kind of, you know, got a little bit of like fragrance in it and whatnot. But I mean, I actually brew it. Like I like get my kettle on the stove and I put all my, I use a grain alcohol base and I put on all the herbs and I put some essential oils in and then I strain it. No Florida man, sadly. Oh, thanks, Damie. I'm actually getting my hair done next Friday, which might mean I have to change the street. Well, no, I should be home in time. It's an early enough appointment. But yeah, it's like Florida water has, depending on who makes it, it's got like a floral like top element to it and sort of a little bit of a citrusy and then sort of like spiciness, like clove, cinnamon, like star anise, that sort of thing. Like people like add a little bit of like Florida water and wash, you know, if you're like doing a cleansing of your house, they'll use it to like as a floor wash and stuff like that. Like I also make like Florida water bath salts, so you can do like a ritual bath with it. And I also make soap. Actually, I have a loaf of it I need to cut down on my, it's sitting on my stove. Because I had to make a new batch of it last night. Have you used what? Jason asks, have you used water charged by storms in any of your products? I do have some of Barbie Garrett's Apocalypse water. I haven't used it yet, but I will be. I also ordered some of Connor Kendall's Baneful Elixir. I'm very excited about that. Yeah, it's got that anise smell, the licorice kind of smell to it. So I did make some war water for some work I was doing last year. War water ends up really stinky. That's all I'm gonna say. Like it's sometimes hard to collect like storm water, like because I live in the city, so it's I need to get like a rain barrel or something to collect it. Yes, I'm in Philly. Pull a Ben Franklin and shock some water with lightning. Yeah, Philly. It's a weird place. But what time is it? Okay, so it's like 9:20. Yeah. What was I gonna say? Hakkate, a bottle of water. Yeah. You know what always pissed me off is they built a church on the site of where Ben Franklin got struck by lightning. I used to kick it when I would walk by when I was in college. I'm like, stupid church, you shouldn't be here. Ben Franklin would not like you. Now, if it was a monument of like Coke and hookers, he probably would have been all over that shit. Or French hookers, or French whores. He liked them quite a lot. Ooh, yeah. No, Eddie, I'll one up you, Secaucus. That place has some dank ass stank to it. Yeah, JS and Barbie usually go live around 9:30, so. But yeah, I like. I guarantee you, there's a Hellfire Club grotto under that church. Philadelphia's got a lot of weird shit in a lot of weird places, so it wouldn't. Have a good one, Asiriel. Thank you. Yeah, so yeah, Philly's got a lot of weird stuff in it, including the people. We do weird shit all the time. We're still doing weird shit, apparently. Philly. We do weird things. And so it is done, Eddie. So it is done. We're bringing back the Hellfire Club. There you go. It's like Bog, but with blackjack and hookers. Like you do. Like you do. Well, I've really been enjoying doing these live streams and stuff like that because, like, I find for me Friday works pretty well because, like, it's my evening-ish off. So, Elric says, buy an old church and turn it into an infernal church. I think they did that back in the day with the Limelight dance club in New York City. It was an old church. Now I think it's a Rite Aid or something like that. It's very sad. But anyways, yeah, I really like doing the live streams. I think Elric and I are going to try because we were messing about with OBS to get that set up on my laptop. On my newer laptop and stuff like that. So we might do something tomorrow or Sunday. But yeah, so I'm trying to think if there's anything else fun on the horizon. I am very excited, though, to have like an actual other human assistant and an intern that will be helping me. Because like a lot of it is like I get stuck in the minutiae of things of like having to bottle everything and label it and, you know, package it and all those things. So I can just be like, here, put this in bottles for me. Because literally like all the tinctures and elixirs I've made have been done for over a month now. I just haven't gotten through the whole process of bottling them yet to get them released. So I'm gonna test out one of them tonight. So I think the Shadows of the Night Side one will be ready for tomorrow. I just have to make labels, but that won't take that long. I'll probably do that while like I'm watching Barbie and JS's feed or live stream rather. Justinius asks, have you any special projects or rituals planned for Halloween? Yeah, I'm doing the Dark Art Summit. I'll put links to that if you don't have it. It is going to be an awesome time. Like JS and Barbie are doing some ritual stuff for it. EA Wedding is, Serafina, Lami, and a few other people. So I'm also one of the merchants for it. So I'll put the information. You can they have a Discord channel for it. So that's the ticket info and the Discord server. So it sounds like it's going to be a really cool event. I'm really excited for it. So you're doing the Lake of Fire on Halloween, Elric? That sounds cool. Yeah, it starts October 30th and goes through November 1st. So it's the whole Halloween weekend. You should do that, Elric. Yeah, I know there's some of the Shadowgate stuff that DH Thorne is doing going on that weekend too. But I'm looking forward to that, and oh, I have to put that up too. I forgot to do that too. Oh well. Anyways, since it's like 9:26, I am going to end the stream. So I have a couple things I want to do, and then we'll all hop on over to JS Garrett's channel for Beer Boobs and Black Magic. I think they're doing a love ritual, like a group love ritual tonight. Not group love, but like a group ritual for love magic. You know what I mean? So that's what they're doing tonight. I have to say, the ritual they did for Suntalok, which was like, you know, the wealth kind of demon. I just even, you know, I didn't do the ritual. I just watched them doing the ritual and like had effects just from that. So if you need money, do the Suntalok one. Yeah, the messy part of it, Jasoni, is up to you to do on your own time. Yeah, I hear you. I was promised orgies. And all I've got are these demons stealing my cinnamon donuts. Anyways, thank y'all for showing up. This was fun. Elric, I'm not even going to touch that one. Anyways, have a good one, guys. I'll see you guys on the other live streams and whatnot. And maybe tomorrow, Elric and I will be doing something. So catch you later. Bye. Thanks, everyone.